Hi everyone, my name is Delia Herman. I'm a 26-year-old white female. As you can see from my diversity wheel, I fall mostly into the dominant categories, except for that I am female. In terms of religion, I was not raised very religiously because my father was Jewish and my mother was Catholic, and that way I would fall into a subordinate category. I'm not married, I have no kids. Growing up, my mom and dad both worked full-time. They both took on household chores, so I never felt limited by my gender. I never felt like I was expected to be a certain way when I grew up. My opportunities were always limitless. Some tragic, critical moments in my life would be 9/11, because this is where, in my life, it was the first time I saw racism come to the surface and Islamophobia come to the surface, and saw people start a witch hunt mentality. Some turning points for me: when I was graduating high school, I worked at a catering hall with peers that were working to pay for their books for community college, and I was about to head off to a four-year institution and wasn't really worried about where the money was coming from to pay for my books, and that made me start feeling a sense of white guilt and survivor's guilt that made me want to do more to help make the world more equitable. And that's what inspired me to go into teaching. I got my first job at a rural Title I school, and this is exactly what I had wanted to do. This proved to be very challenging for me. It's another turning point in my life where I thought that I had understood diversity, and I thought that I could teach students of a different race and a different socioeconomic status, but they started calling me a racist, and I really had to figure out why they felt that way about me when I didn't think I was a racist. And this really educated me on how the system works, how the education system works, how just society works as a whole to benefit white people, especially white males, and how others are put down in the process. I moved on from that job to work at an upper middle class suburban high school, and am now dealing with almost the opposite, where I'm trying to bring these issues up with my students, and I'm getting a lot of pushback. Trump being elected president has impacted my thoughts about race and wealth, and I think it's causing everyone to evaluate where we are as a country in terms of racism and classism. Other nuances about me: I am angrily referred to and judged by my high school students for being a feminist liberal teacher. For some reason, I'm thrown into a category of angry feminist. I think just because if you are a feminist, people think you're angry. I don't think I come across as an angry person. I'm also considered liberal just because I try to bring these issues of privilege up with my students, which for me comes from a place of compassion and caring about people, but just because of the way, I guess, the election polarized people, that's considered a liberal viewpoint. For my art piece, I decided to write a sonnet because I like following rules, and I knew that I would have to follow some rules when I wrote my sonnet. And it is about me trying to cope with wanting to bring my upper middle class students to a place of critical consciousness. When I reflect upon my privileged life, a wave of guilt begins to flood my heart. Status can't be controlled, it brings me strife. Questions raised how I can do my part. To teach compassion feels important now. The students try their best to shut me down. My mind runs off ahead to figure how. Helpless, hopeless anger takes the crown. Patience, hope, and grace must power through. To give up now would be the greatest loss. I must make students feel empowered too, and show them that they are the only boss. To prove to them that they can change the way feels like the only choice to save the day.